Oh, great.
I thought you were ready.
Second motion.
Thank you. Call the meeting to order. The consideration for approval of the minutes. Josh.
Second.
Paul, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Consent items 5A, B, C. Do you have any questions? Mike? Ronnie, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Move to 11A, C&D Services LLC, Special Water and Sewer License. What are they doing? Okay, very good. Is everything in order?
Yes.
Okay.
Move. Second.
Don, Paul, any further discussion? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0 unanimous. Okay, new business, resolution setting new rates for building permits. Molly.
All right, good evening. You may recall a couple of weeks ago, we came before you and discussed working with a new firm, Inspectron. As part of that particular process, one of the items that we had hoped to accomplish was to review the existing ordinances and fees that were in place. As part of this particular process, before you tonight, we found some things that need to be addressed, which you can see in the letter from Steve Sunday in your packet. Specifically, the fee schedules need to be reviewed. So, and before I do that, I want to make sure I introduce Harry Jennis. Harry is our building inspector. In case you haven't met him, Harry's been out and about in the community. And so Harry and I and Ron Wasmond have been working together on this information. So, moving forward, in the packet you had a resolution, but I want to point your attention to what is titled Exhibit B. Exhibit B lists out our existing fees and some proposed fees for your consideration. There's two different sections that we have to concentrate on. Did you find it? It's in front of you there, Gary.
What?
Nope, there you go. Everybody find it? Yes. There you go, flip through that. Okay, so we're proposing to continue using our valuation schedule, which is the 1997 UBC Table 1A schedule. This is what we're currently using. We're not proposing a change there.
Okay, so we're not using, I thought it was 205 or 2006, we're not.
That's the actual code we're using. The valuation schedule that we're using is the 1999. Did I say that right? 1997, yes.
But our code is 2006 IBC.
IBC and IRC, correct.
Very good, thank you.
All right, and so, while I won't go through every single one of these unless you'd like me to, what I'll say is the biggest change that we need to address as far as this actual section is looking at a a plan review fee. In our review, we found that perhaps this is something that we needed to address. So you can see there for residential and for commercial, we proposed two different rates. In this particular example, the plan review fee for a residential permit is proposed at 50% of the valuation, and the commercial is at 65% of the valuation. So what that looks like, if you'll take and turn 2 pages back to Exhibit C, actually ends up looking like, and let's just talk about an example of a project that's valued at $20,000. So if you'll go down the valuation column there, Don, it's in the packet right in front of you there.
Oh, I thought I saw it.
Yeah, there you go. Flip to the very back. If you go down to the $20,000 column, you'll see the permit fee, which is where we're at right now. That's based on that 1997 schedule that we discussed. The 65 and 50% plan review, it would be one or the other of those if we so choose tonight to move forward with those fee schedules. And then, of course, the state surcharge, which is something that we're obligated to pay.
Of that either plan,
Mm-hmm.
of the $280.81 for the $160.63, what's the city's cut of that?
That is our plan review fee because we are the ones doing the plan review. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
So we wouldn't have to even go 50%. We haven't been charging anything,
Correct.
so jumping to 50 is a good jump.
I had to look, when I called around to other communities our size, and some of them are like 35%.
Yeah, actually, Wyndham is at 35 for residential and 65 for commercial. Harry spoke with Jackson today or yesterday, and they're at 35, looking to actually increase that for residential. I think they're in a process of increasing the residential, and they're at 65 for commercial. Consistently, what we found, commercial seems pretty standard, the 65%. Correct me if you found anything different, Harry, but we thought 65% was a pretty consistent number with the commercials. Residential, of course, those were, 35%. Some people have flat fees that they implement, and some are higher. Some are at 50 and 65%. So
Who reviews the plan?
Harry or myself or one of our staff, Ron.
Well, it'll be our building inspector if we ever get a building inspector. That's what Steve was supposed to be doing, correct? But being we never charged, never had to charge.
They have to charge
Anything.
They have to charge something. They shall charge a fee.
To me, it should be just part of the building permit. That's what I think.
Well, it is after you charge it.
It is.
Well,
It
that
is,
isn't what I mean. I mean, we're just jabbing people more and more and more money constantly.
but it is, but it isn't, because the regulation refers to a building permit and it also refers to plan review fee. The law separates the two out. So we can't say that the building permit fee is actually both a building permit fee and a plan review fee. Somehow we have to schedule a separate fee for each one of them.
But
I'd
we
say
could
that's
set,
right.
we could set it at 1%.
Yeah, or something. Can't do zero, that's what the letter says, because it's not.
And it costs the city time and money to review the plans, so we should get something.
Well, what the permit fee itself, I mean, that's the city, when you get a building permit, doesn't the city go in and inspect everything too? Isn't that what a building permit is for, to pay the city to do what they're supposed to do?
Correct.
Yeah, we're paying
That's
them
the
twice to do it, it looks like. to me.
No, well, one is a plan,
Well, I know
and
what
one
it is,
is
but it just seems
on-site
like we're
inspection.
paying twice, having people pay.
For something that should
150.
already be done.
It should already be part of the package, that's what I think. And then I look in these other, in a regular section here, and it goes into the commercial permits, mechanical permits, plan review fees. Well, if one of these buildings needs a new furnace, they call a plumber, is he gonna have a plan to put that in? They just put it in, but what are we charging for that? 50% of the permit fee for what? That's for nothing there.
There's not a fee for water heaters and furnaces, is there?
Yes, there is.
Okay, what's the number?
It would be the same as for a furnace.
Well, we need a plan review fee.
Now, the plan review fee, there's no plan review for a furnace, no plan review for a hot
It's an
water heater.
inspection fee.
Well, it says.
It's an inspection fee is what it is.
But there's not a separate fee.
The only time a mechanical fee would be charged would be if you would have a new building come to town, for instance, a Subway or whatever's gonna come here. When they put in a new system,
Yeah.
that's when the plan review fee
Well,
would
that
be
makes
charged.
sense, because there's gonna be a plan for that, to look at.
It's only for a remodel, major remodel, or for a new building. that's when you're gonna have a plan review. If you're just,
Doesn't say that here.
or if you're doing a deck, I mean, decks are pretty, there's a lot of mishaps occur on decks because they're not built right. And that's one of the reasons why we have a plan review on that.
Where are you looking at?
13A,
If I understand that, first page is
second page. So it says plumbing permits, mechanical permits, land review fee. Doesn't say anything about new or used or old or remodel or anything.
That's what's intended.
Well, intents are nice.
So can we not have it in there then?
If you wanna take it out, you can take it out.
Well, I mean.
But does that meet the letter of the law?
Unless you define it a little bit more, saying this is for new buildings or complete remodeling or something, where there will be a plan to look at.
And that, it's anytime we have a plan that we have to look at, that's when we charge.
Well,
If you're gonna have a new furnace, there's no plan.
right.
If there's a hot water heater, no plan.
So can you put something on there then that says if there's no plan, there is no?
It actually states in the code, specifically, the language here. The building official, when a plan is submitted with plans that need to be approved, the building official must examine those plans. And once he approves those, when he's ready to issue that permit, he then stamps the plan with reviewed for code compliance.
What you're reading, we don't have.
Yeah, we don't have what you got.
This is in the Minnesota State Building Code, actually in the
Now, Molly, are we talking commercial and residential? I asked you
Both.
about this.
both.
Both, as
Well,
you
okay,
see,
so the Eagles built a new building, they had to have an architect come with designs, then you guys have to look, and then you have to review those designs? After they have an architect draw them up?
Absolutely. However, for a home, you don't need you need an architect, but you don't need an engineer. Or someone who's qualified to draw those plans.
I think we're feeding everybody to death.
It doesn't have to be an architect necessarily.
Not necessarily.
You just have to have an approved plan.
Right. Approved plan.
Okay, then back to Steve, then what do we, tell us to be legal, what we need to do?
I think I've already said it, on the plan review fee,
Mhm.
we have to charge a fee separate from the building permit fee. You can charge what you want, if it has to be a fee.
Okay.
If on the, I think we've adopted the building code, and the building code defines what he just stated. So I don't think you have to worry about that plumbing fee, because this is just incorporated in with our building
We
code.
adopted it
Right.
Well, if you look at some of these values, I mean, what are you gonna have done for $500 that's gonna need a review?
Could be a deck,
That's gonna cost a lot more than $500 per deck.
could be a step.
So you put steps in and you have to have a plan review?
Make sure that you've got the right run and rise.
How are we gonna convey this to all the tax, to all the residents of town? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, if it's just done, that they don't come up with a permit.
We're hoping to put an end to that.
There's still gonna be some residential owners that'll do their own improvements.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
certainly not gonna go around and try and,
Well, we
Oh,
can't.
yeah, you got,
We can't go around.
I think
and
that,
look at
that's
it.
addressed here, isn't it? If
What's that,
somebody's caught doing something, heaven forbid, that they're gonna be then clipped with the cost of the permit, and I would assume the review.
you mean starting without a permit? Yeah, and that's nothing new, that was in our old fee schedule, but yes, a double permit fee is what, I mean, we're not suggesting to change that at all, but.
But he's right, I've had cases where because of the construction of the steps, and somebody fell and was seriously injured, there were some real issues. And even if they're $400 steps built by Steve Sunday, they still need to meet the code. It's a safety
How
issue.
many inspections do why would we make it an inspection after normal business hours?
That's what a contractor wants.
If the contractor would request it, then he would have to pay the extra fee for that.
And it's been done.
Oh, sure, he's not paying for it, he just charges the customer.
He probably passes it on, but if say it's a cement guy and you gotta wait for the next guy to come, he wants it done so the next guy can start. I mean, it's
Well,
happening
I just
more
think-
commercial than residential.
I just think if we're gonna be looking at the exhibit C, these dollar amounts, I think 50 is, I think they're too high.
I think one of the reasons why we were a little bit concerned that there wasn't a plan review fee charged, because I have not found any evidence there was any plan reviews done. There's not one plan that I've seen that's been stamped and signed.
I've talked to a number of residents that had work done that they haven't been to the city for a permit either. I mean, water heater, furnace, or whatever it is, they just haven't done it.
Especially if they do it themselves, just put it in.
Well, they call it contractor to do it, they're not gonna.
And I think one of the issues, well, that I've already run into is, there are a lot of people who like to do their own work, which requires on my behalf, a lot of handholding. To get a qualified plan to understand what they're going to be doing and whether or not it meets the code. And that takes a lot of time.
Like I say, I agree with Mike, we're feeding everybody to death, I think if we gotta have it according to law, some kind of fee. Let's make it low as we can.
And I think myself and all of us here wanna make sure we continue to be proactive and positive with things going forward, not try and make it an anti-friendly community.
Absolutely.
Bryce, do you wanna be, excuse me, I apologize, we wanna make sure that anybody that's considering building, to invite them and overwhelmingly want them to do it, whatever it be, residential, commercial, or whatever. There's a fine line, and I understand and respect Steve, that we have to have some kind of a fee, but same as everybody is saying, and we need to be minimally.
One of the reasons that there are fees is to attempt to make the position of the department self-sustaining. Now you need to, as a council, you need to decide, is that what you want, or do you want a certain portion of it to be self-sustaining and have the taxpayers pay the rest? Or how do you want that to run?
And I agree with what you're saying there, but it's like when you came over and inspected my furnace, if you come from St. Peter, okay, if we get to the point where we charge an inspection like that, and you come over after our 30-day and we're paying $180, $160 an hour, whatever it is, and you come to town, you've only got one inspection, what are we gonna charge that resident? I think we flat rate, and if we can't get enough inspections there to pay for your trip over here, the city eats the rest of it.
In that particular instance, we can bunch several of those
That's what I'm
inspections
saying,
together.
but if you can't do that, I mean,
We will attempt to do that.
I just hate, I mean, I know how long you were there at my place, I would hate to a resident come to me and say, that inspector was there for 5 minutes and he charged us, I had to pay $75 for that inspection. Well, my answer would be, we're helping to sustain the department or the position, that don't fly. I mean, so I hope when we realize we do have problems from the past, that these weren't being done correctly and stuff, but I hope this is the first step, we rectify it, but not, overcharging the residents.
Our goal is to, I'm assuming, eventually have our own building inspector, is that right, or not? So, when that time does come, then I would think that position, they're on the salary, and these fees would be less important to cover our costs, because he's gonna be there. I know it would still be helping to cover it, but it isn't as critical then, I think, as it may be now, but I still think.
How feasible is it that maybe if our size will eventually have our own inspector, or is it to the size we are, we would share one with numerous communities? I mean, is it realistic?
There's lots of options that are available. and sharing is probably more realistic.
Then you can cost share that with other communities too.
Correct.
Then we all probably have to charge the same fees in that case, whatever your cost share.
Not necessarily, because again, each community could have its own philosophy in regards to how much they want all of the taxpayers to help subsidize that position.
And they may not have the 1997 building code, they might have a 2005, which is gonna be higher than what we have.
And by the way, these fees were scheduled many years ago, when it used to be, the universal building code. And then they changed it internationally, so it's now called the International Code. International Residential and International Building. If you go to Saudi Arabia, they got the same codes we got.
Then it's warmer.
They don't need a furnace.
They waive the furnace fee.
So what do we gotta do now?
We need to decide what you want for a fee. And if you want to change any of the proposals in the resolution. And if you would notice under the plumbing and mechanical, there's a $10 more charge than there was previously, which would be on the first page of the 13A, on the residential, about halfway down. You look under plumbing permit, it says $20 plus 10 plus state surcharge. We currently are 20 plus, correct me, we're currently $20 plus the $5 fee, we're at 25. So this adopts a $10 increase, which goes back to what Don and Mike are both saying, make it more minimal.
Well, it's not so much that as a permit.
To review.
That's review, that's what I didn't think is too bad.
And I won't tell you how many calls I got on the plumbing fee, and it goes up another $10, which is about a 30 or 40% increase. We're gonna get a lot more.
And again, if somebody's just changing out their toilet,
Oh, sure.
they don't need a permit.
But
This is more for like
Remodels.
remodels and new construction.
Like if you're gonna remodel your bathroom and you're gonna put new plumbing in there, they'll charge for your sink, your toilet, and your shower or your tub.
But if you're replacing existing,
No charge.
there's no charge.
No charge.
a water heater and furnace certainly is $25 because I pay it.
Right. With the water heater, you run coupling, both normally gas, some are electric too. But you're coupling gas and you're coupling water. And that, we need to make sure that that's hooked back up correctly.
I understand that
And
and agree.
Yeah, and there's also, they have the overflow.
Right, the blow off pipe within 12 inches of the floor. But we were at $25, it seems like we ought to just stay there and not raise it. And I know, I'm not looking to you for an answer, because you said we can charge whatever we want, so I guess I'm addressing it to the council. So that in addition to, if you want the plan review fee, a different number than 50%. Or a flat fee, what Doug recommended, or Don, excuse me, is a flat fee probably not as good as a percentage in your estimation?
You can work with whatever you want to do.
But as the numbers go up, there's gonna be more to review,
Right, there
obviously,
is-
substantially more.
Yeah, I mean,
Percentage would probably be the best, but let's keep it a low percentage.
if you have a $10,000 project versus a $100,000 project, absolutely, it's gonna take you much longer, it's more involved,
Correct.
and that's why there's a more of a
Sure.
charge.
Yep. Okay, let me get a beat. Okay. So we'll go down line by line, starting with the exhibit B, where it says exhibit B. I'm gonna hand out to them. Looks like there's nothing on it.
The permit fee is gonna be the same, the plan review fee is the next one.
Okay,
In
all
other
right.
words, it's in there.
Okay, under proposed and existing, very good, okay, here we go. So building permits, if you go down to where it says plan review fee, the proposal is 50%, what do you want that?
This is residential.
Yeah, I'm sorry, on residential, first page of exhibit B,
Talking about plan review fee.
yeah, where it says percent, what do you want that number to be?
Okay, now if we're talking commercial and residential, why do,
We're only in residential now, we'll get down to commercial on the
oh,
next
okay,
page, so
okay.
we'll address your question.
I think 50% is too high.
Okay, well, what's the number you propose then?
I'm gonna throw out 25%.
I say we come up with a happy medium.
Josh?
Yeah, that's what I would say,
Mike?
25.
You guys should have said lower. I just threw that out.
I guess
I was thinking the same thing.
Whatever, nobody's voted anything yet.
25%.
Okay, all right. Now roofing,
Those all stayed the same.
yeah, okay, it's the same, so now we can go down to,
What we did add, we did not have a permit for windows and doors.
Yeah.
We are proposing one here. When you open up, take a window out, you're opening up the envelope. And it's very important that we get that envelope sealed back up properly. And that's why we do need an inspection on windows and doors.
and currently there's 0, proposed is $50.
Per window,
Per permit,
per permit.
just a flat charge. If you put in 10 windows, it's still $50.
Put in 10 windows and 3 doors is $50.
But if you put in one door, it's $50.
Yeah.
Or one window.
Better do both.
Yeah,
One
well,
wall.
Better do both at once.
I don't think that'll fit under this line. So do you wanna leave that?
That seems a little high to me too.
Okay. And what's the number?
I remember years back.
Gary?
Yeah.
Wait,
City of Mankato they have the building code there. My daughter lives there. She had windows put in her house. And as long as they did not change the size of the opening, they could replace all the windows without a building permit.
Well, yeah,
That's the way it is.
but what he's saying is they gotta come down and make sure they were sealed up properly.
Not anymore. Because the energy code now requires that that inspection take place. Because you're opening up the envelope.
Your number, Josh?
I was thinking maybe $20.
Okay, what's the rest of you think?
Do we have any idea, Molly, how many of these permits have been issued?
I have some numbers as far as, they're gonna be general numbers, like roofing numbers and things.
Window
They're generally
replacement, door replacement.
Now, those, no, simply because we haven't tracked those separately in the past. But, like I said, I can give you general building permits, and I can give you roofing and siding numbers, if that'll help you.
Well, roofing's probably the number one thing that's done. I would think.
There's quite a few of those, Scott.
Yeah.
It's $5 no matter what.
Yes.
Maybe we should make it 25.
No, it'll be 20 plus.
20,
20
plus,
So that seems,
Yeah, that'd be 25.
So are you okay with that? Are you okay with that?
For like the whole house, so this either says $20 plus back for a door or the whole house.
Correct.
yeah, it's one or the whole works. I mean, it doesn't
I
matter.
know. It seems like I wouldn't squawk over either one of them, actually. If they came to say, inspect my one door, I'd say, sure, here's your $20 plus your $5. But at the same time, you got somebody coming out and they're gonna inspect a new house that has got 8 doors or 5 doors and 35 windows, and then then it's still $25, and then how much time do we have invested?
This is, yeah, that's just a permit. This is gonna be window and door
Well,
replacement.
that's just if we're doing something different, that's not a whole house inspection, okay. Okay, then, yes.
Don? You okay with the 20?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul? Okay.
I was looking at this pool here.
The pool?
Put a pool in there?
All right, then we can go down to. No,
Those are changes.
It certainly does, right
Yeah,
here,
it
the
does.
building permit, we got
Plumbing
20, 10, 5, and it was, it's currently 25, and it's makes 35. And now we're down to building permit.
Right.
Okay, very good, building permit, residential alterations, currently $25, and you wanna go to 35, because they're adding the $10 per fixture charge in there, in addition.
For the plumbing permit,
Yeah, it says plumbing, sprinkler, mechanical, fireplace, and residential alteration. So the extra $10 is in all four of them, where previously it was $25, now it's 35. So if you take the $10 per fixture out, you're at 25, and if you don't, you got $10 more.
Let's take the $10 out per fixture,
Okay?
they're gonna go over there, let them check them all.
Is that okay with everybody? Aye? Okay, right, then we're down to. We're down to commercial laundry? Yes. Is that the next page?
Same page.
I didn't find it. We're looking at right here, okay, commercial permits. Now we need to go to a plan review fee for commercial. What do you wanna make that?
Just a minute,
Yep.
back up, did we?
You bet.
Or on the plumbing permit and mechanical, you took out that. Okay,
On all four of them,
okay,
yes, took the $10 out of all four,
Okay,
yes.
okay, I'm with you now.
Now you're down to commercial, the second one, which is plan review fee. You recommend commercial to be higher than residential, Harry?
Yes,
Okay,
much more complicated.
all right.
And nearly everybody that I call is at 65. Jackson, Wyndham, Arlington, Gaylord.
Let's stay at 65 then.
Understand, 65?
Commercial tax write-off.
Still need to have the income to pay so you'll leave that at 65,
yes.
everybody, okay? So under permit fee on plumbing again, gonna take that $10 off, the same as you did in residential, or you gonna leave it in for commercial?
Is that new?
Well, the $10 is.
But yeah, I mean, is $10 new? I'm gonna
Yes.
take it out. We're gonna pay 65% for permit fee, and we give them $10.
You're gonna leave the 65 in there, okay? Now we're down, so mechanical permits, then you take the $10 out of both of them like you did residential, alright? Okay, how about plan review fee?
This is for mechanical permits?
Yep. Mechanical and plumbing.
And this is for commercial, so I would say we should leave that. Some of those commercial mechanical plants can get pretty in-depth.
So you said leave it?
I would say leave
Okay,
it.
all right, is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. How about plan review fee on the second one, the same as well, under fire suppression and alarm permits? Okay. Zoning permit, the last one in line is $40, the same as it was. All right, now we're on to the second page. Inspection outside normal business hours. Excuse me, I gotta get by the microphone.
I don't think any of these changed.
You added well, it says you added an hourly cost.
Right, it's actually $60 right now, and we just added the wording that said, or the total hourly cost to the jurisdiction, meaning if it actually costs us more than $60 for a contractor who's requested an after-hours inspection, what we're proposing is if it's more than that $60, we charge them whatever our cost is. So we just added those words, or whatever our total cost is.
I think that's okay. I think that's fair.
Fall down, okay?
Yes.
Alright. Investigation fee. Verification of contractor license, you're gonna give them $5 for that?
And that would only be a one-time charge, because they renew every 2 years. If they bring in their license, they can bring in a copy of their license, and we'll keep it on file. But the first time they bring it in, we need to verify with the state that it it indeed is active.
That's pretty easy to get online and check it, right?
Right.
Who gets the $5 credit?
We do. Well, the city does.
But these contractors come in now, they pay a fee every year, right? To do business with them. You know, plumber, electrician, don't they pay a fee every year?
The plumber does.
You know which one?
Electrician does not. But carpenter, no.
Plumber's the only one we get?
And that.
Must have had, the carpenters and electricians on city council.
I'm not sure the reason why, but I know just about every city does. I know in the Twin Cities, every city, you have to be licensed, and if you don't have a license.
Whatever you are.
Right, and you have to have that card, I forget what card it is, you gotta have that card with you, or you can't do business in.
I know someone checked on it in St. James in previous years, and we checked on it, wasn't there, and they got enough water for that.
When they come in to verify this, do they show proof of insurance, the plumbers?
Yeah.
Now, that seems awful funny that you would have carpenters and electricians run around town doing work. How would anybody verify that?
And that's how we do that, by that $5 charge, checking with the state,
We don't do that.
because if they don't have
That's what they
insurance,
want
they're not
from
gonna
us.
have
That's what we say,
that
yes.
certificate. They gotta have insurance and they gotta have a bond. Get on the internet and check. On the labor industry. All you do is punch in their name or else their number in.
Well, then that's what you're saying, is we wouldn't know an electrician or a carpenter would have.
Carpenter we would, because if they got a license through the state, they gotta have insurance and they gotta have a bond, or they don't get the license.
How about electricians and plumbers?
Well, again, we don't have an electrical inspector, that's a state inspector, so they
Okay.
take care of that.
Okay, but we do plumbing, we get.
Because the state inspector won't come out and do a job unless you're licensed.
And John Sandville is the state electrical guy, I guess he puts a stamp on every box there is.
They usually get there 30 to 45 to 60 days after the job's done.
At least.
So do you want the $5 fee on, or do you not want it on the contractor's license verification?
I would say we should have it.
Okay, is that okay with everybody? Mike? Oh, Don?
The thing about it with a contractor that's licensed, and this is something that we really have to educate the public about, is that there's a lot of contractors who say, tell the homeowner, go in and get the permit. If the homeowner gets the permit, they become the general contractor and they are now responsible for
Well,
anything.
what about our paperwork? Yeah, you go in and get the permit, but we have to put down in our permit, they ask who the contractor is.
The contractor should be coming in to do that.
Now, but still, our piece of paper asks for that contractor, and if he's not licensed,
The contractor is the one that should come in and get the
I
building permit.
understand that. But what I'm saying is, you're saying that if the resident goes in and do it, he's not sure. But our paperwork asks specifically who the contractor is. And we know if that contractor is not licensed, well, then we're not gonna issue the permit. I'm assuming that's the way that we do it. I mean, when I went and got the permit for the steel roofing on my house, I had to put down who the contractor was. I got the permit, I put the contractor's name on there.
And that's what we're trying to prevent from happening. Because if he fell off of your roof, you're responsible.
And we have an owner certification form that goes with it. I'm not sure about your particular permit, but when homeowners come in, they have the option to sign off on this thing saying, I understand.
If you're
I'm
doing the
taking
work, it asks on there, it has the option, are you doing the work yourself? I put no, and then I had to list the contractor on there.
And he should have came and got the permit, because that's what his insurance is for.
I understand that, and like I said, when you over and inspected my furnace, the contractor did the same thing, he had me go up and get the permit.
And we have to change that.
He should.
We have to change that.
I work for a contractor, and we go up and get every single building permit, but we don't ask the building.
I'm saying, we've been trying to educate these contractors for how many years?
This is the only way we're gonna do it, though. is to make it happen.
Well, we've been trying to make it happen for a number of years, and they're still telling the resident what get the permit, so we're failing someplace along the line.
I've already refused some permits because that's what's happening.
I think part of that problem is going on, that's why we're trying to fix the rest of it.
Well,
So do you want to,
Then,
and I do the same
and
thing.
also what we're sitting here discussing is, if any of you have ever read some of the literature, the writing that's on these permits, remember I came and talked to you about it, Joe? When I did my roof, in our paperwork, it says the homeowner is supposed to supply a ladder for our building inspector to inspect the roof, correct?
We need to take that out of there.
Why would I have to, as a homeowner,
It should be,
apply?
yeah, it should be the applicant, whoever pulled the permit should be furnishing.
But I don't care, even if the contractor goes up there. The city, the building inspector should bring his own ladder, right? Why should a resident have to supply, like, put the ladder up and the guy falls off, then you sue him?
That's why 150% building permit fee.
Oh, I'll tell you what a can of worms.
There's some educating that has to be done, and we're gonna do that.
Just starting this Thursday at noon
Correct.
at the fire hall. And are you gonna make that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. You already answered, you were, so the only one we don't know about for sure is Don.
I'll be there.
Okay. Okay. We now have unanimous, everybody's there. Excellent. So you leave- Catch that.
I'm making decisions.
No. We'll make sure there's that. That's what we're doing tonight. So we'll leave the contractor license in at $5. Everybody's okay with that? And we don't have to do exhibit C because we've already addressed it prior on the review fee. Hear me? Correct. Okay. All right. So the next, now, does anybody have any questions of Harry or Molly? Before we go forward on the resolution, on the amended resolution. And this doesn't have to be read twice, just tonight it's fast.
Second, dispense with the reading.
On our amended one. Okay, very good. Okay. Harry, what do you want to add?
I should, there's one other thing I wanna add that we included in that resolution. That we're required to have a refund policy. We didn't have that in the past. So I believe what we have in there is, if someone comes in and pays for the permit and then decides not to do it, we will refund 80% of it back. That, another requirement from the building code.
And what do you want it to be?
Refunding 80%.
I think it's on there.
Yeah, it's
Yep, it's on this.
Oh, here we go, okay, yep, 80% of it.
so you're basically, if they decide not to do the work, we're making them pay 20% for the trouble that we went through.
Yep. Paperwork,
Right,
right?
paperwork, that's required in building code anyway, so.
Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nine? All right, so that's part of our amended resolution. Any further discussion? Anything you want to add, Molly?
No, not right now, but I'll give you want the numbers now, or maybe we can talk about them afterwards.
No one know?
Get 'em.
No, we'll get them, we're done, okay. No other discussion, all in favor of the amended resolution for the building permit fee schedule? By a show of hands. Opposed? Amended resolution passes 5-0 unanimous. And we'll look forward to the meeting at noon on Thursday at the fire hall.
Correct.
And you're all gonna be there as well. Now, bring up what you were gonna have, Molly?
You inquired about how many permits, building permit, now this doesn't give you valuation, this gives you sheer quantity. So in 2013, there were 58 building permits.
How many roofs?
Roofs, roofing and siding is together, they're on the same permit, but there were 75 in 2013,
And how many total were there?
75 total.
all our building permits are for roofing and,
No, the
That's
roofing and siding permits are separated out, plus building permits were an additional 58.
okay, that's what I was.
There you go.
Everything?
Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. We'll see you Thursday. 13B, request to purchase wastewater treatment lab equipment.
In reviewing the operation of the wastewater treatment plant, we determined that we need to purchase some laboratory equipment to give us a better way of measuring a baseline for the operation of the facility, and also to be used as a double check to make sure that the testing that's being done by an outside contractor is within the same range of what we're doing. Gives us the opportunity to possibly correct some things without waiting for the 3 days before we get those lab reports back from Janesville.
So what we we're currently using was not right? Or-
It wasn't adequate, and some of it is old and not accurate.
It's just upgrading equipment.
Yes,
In the budget?
I think some of it is. The entire budget for the wastewater this whole year, it's gonna be a little bit
In the air,
in the air because
it's gonna be moving. So you wanna accept low quote of $7,815.23 from Hatch, is that right, Joe?
Correct.
So, second.
You said that, Don or Paul? Okay, Don and Josh, any further discussion? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimous. 13C, wastewater,
They're requesting to purchase a new extended cab 3/4 ton pickup with a plow attachment. Currently, there are 2 vehicles out there. They did use a squad car at one time, and that hasn't been used for a couple of years. And
this is a pass-through that comes through our capital equipment fund to pay for.
Any chance
Was
of,
it budgeted?
is there any chance of looking for a used one instead of a new one?
every option's open. And I know that it's more difficult to find used pickups, but we definitely can look.
Well, I think we should look at it
Yep.
first. Maybe there isn't anything out there we really want.
But at
I
least
think we
see,
should look.
Not a problem.
They're not interested in using the squad car that they used to use for
Pretty
back
hard to
and
put
forth.
plow attachment on a squad car.
No,
They're all
no,
gone.
no, but I mean, they've got a couple vehicles out there already.
they have not anymore, they got rid of them in the last couple of years.
Okay.
Used to have them, but don't anymore.
And the vehicles that they've got out there right now are iffy as to whether or not they're even roadworthy, so they will be on the list for next year, at least one of them.
So we'll change this to say to look, review for used and or new. Good, alright,
We'll go up for state bid for new if we do.
Actually, we have gotten bids locally cheaper than the state bids, that we do check it.
Okay.
Just to check for the best.
look at the low,
Right.
correct. We need a motion.
So moved.
Josh, Mike, any further discussion? Excuse me, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mike abstained, he was answering the phone. Kidding. Pool, campground, and picnic shelter rates, Joe.
The park board and staff reviewed the rates at the last meeting. They're recommending only one change from last year, and that is a $50 increase in the seasonal rate for the campground rates.
I would like to discuss, right, if you look at the last one, picnic shelter rates.
Mhm.
We have a base rate and a nonprofit rate, and later on in the agenda, we've got a request to forego the nonprofit classic fee. How many times is this gonna happen? I mean, should it be just $30 and nonprofit nothing? I guess if I was a nonprofit organization and I saw where the city forgave a $15 fee for somebody, I guess I'd make a request to do the same thing.
But if you'll note, there's also a stipulation on that, that it's only waived if they leave the building in the same condition it was in before they used it. Because, and that was the reason why a couple of years ago, the park board decided to recommend a nonprofit rate, because of the fact that a number of our nonprofit organizations leave the places messier than people that are paying the $30.
Okay, so, but if any nonprofit organization come to us, they have the same opportunity, if they leave it the way it was, we forgo the rate.
Only if they come and ask for
Only
it,
if you come and ask for it.
otherwise
Yeah,
it's
that's-
half price
It's a council decision.
currently.
Per case basis. Okay.
Council wishes? Paul and Josh. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimous. Great. Street Department mini excavator purchase.
About a month ago, I requested that we go to bid for a mini excavator for the use in multiple departments. We went out and got 3 quotes, and John Deere here in town was just a few dollars cheaper than the last quote, but then when we looked into it further, John RDO out of Mankato gave us a 5-year 1,000-hour warranty at no cost, so it turned out to be the low bid.
So we would ask Tri-County if they could do the same.
It would cost us. I don't remember what it was, but it was about $400 additional above that, so.
Would that, when you go out for a bid, when you talk a warranty,
Mhm.
okay? And is that part of the bid packet?
Sometimes,
So they would have, if one place didn't offer the same warranty as somebody else, you could ask them if they would offer the same warranty?
that is correct,
Unless it was specifically listed in the bid package?
that is correct.
Okay.
Steve, you okay with this?
Fine with it.
Okay.
Same situation we're in for last week.
Okay, very good. All right. Council wishes
So,
for RDO Mankato.
yes,
Okay, Donnie and Paul, any further discussion? Anything to add, Ray? How long is it to,
60 to 90 days, I believe.
all right,
See what kind of what. John Deere.
all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. 13F, seal coat material quotes, right?
The county did not go to, they are not going to seal coat this year, so but they did go to bid for us for our seal coat oil, and they are asking that the council approves that, because they felt that it's our oil. And I'm asking, and the bids came in quite a bit lower than in the past few years, so that's for our seal coating of the southeast corner of town this year.
Southeast,
Mhm.
Rock bid yet, have you?
I have got the rock purchased already. Yes,
okay, so low bid is Flint Hills Resources 403.56 a ton.
that is correct.
Council wishes. Don and Josh, any further discussion? Anything on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. 13G, Ray, Street Department jetpack.
We have a jetpack in the budget for this year, and the budget committee asked that I go out and look for some used ones. I've been in contact with several dealers, and in your memo, it lets you know that we found this one on the League of Cities website. Myself and Joe were in the cities, we stopped and looked at it. It seems to be a pretty decent machine, it's got good background, or, they've got the maintenance records for it, it belongs to the city of Burnsville. They bought a new one, and I asked Tom why he didn't trade it in. He said the dealer wouldn't give him what he thought it was worth, so they're gonna try and sell it outright. On sealed bids. And I would like the city's permission to make a sealed bid, or a bid for this truck of $75,000.
There's no opportunity to raise it.
No opportunity, we asked Tom that day if there would be an opportunity, he said no. They were not going to go that way.
How'd you arrive at this number?
I called around to some other places that have had that year model.
Okay, so this is 12 years old, but it's 7 years newer than what we have.
That is
Did you
correct.
leave yourself some room?
I think I did.
Is that a motion? Okay, that's what I thought. Second? Paul, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. When is it, the fifth?
The 11th, we have to turn the bid in by,
Okay,
so.
alright. Thanks, Ray.
Yep.
Ordinance regulating premises liquor sales within the corporate limits of the city of St. James, first reading. So,
What this ordinance does is it regulates what type of enclosures we have to have where people are serving alcohol out of a patio type area. This came into play under the no smoking in restaurants, the liquor control and the various companies and restaurants decided they were losing too much business and wanted some way that there could still be smoking allowed. And this is a way of handling that. What we did was staff went out and obtained information from other communities in regards to how they handle it, because liquor control just said, all you need is a 3-foot barrier. You care less how you do it. So we modeled a couple of other communities' ordinances. This will impact those Potros, and we did visit with them and provide them with a copy of this to make sure that it was something that would be workable for them also.
I read this over, where there was something in there about, music or no sound
loud noise.
shall be located in or directly.
No, because they are allowed to.
Okay. Just so everybody knows they are allowed to smoke out there?
Oh, but, as far as music, are they allowed to pipe the music out? Say have speakers set up? And I know other than a celebration where they could come to us for permission, but today during normal work hour, during normal business situation, pipe music out into the patio?
As long as it didn't violate the city noise control
Okay.
ordinance.
They can dispense with it. In other words,
They're
they
gonna
can't
have
sell
a special party or something, or they're gonna have a band or something,
Well,
they
it
gotta
said,
get permission.
yeah, they get permission from that, okay.
They can't be selling liquor outside, it's only stuff that people buy inside and carry out.
Correct.
Yeah,
You can
they-
drink it
the
out there.
mixing area.
And there's no exit out of this patio, or is there?
An emergency exit.
exit, but no formal.
Correct.
Entrance or exit?
Do you know, Joe, when Maria talked about wanting to use the tables and the chairs, benches over there, she was talking about putting the benches on First Avenue for anybody to sit on. You know, she's gonna have to move that fence that's there, gonna have to go to the south, right? She'll have to take that out, put a new fence in there then, if she wants to use those benches on.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
On the street side. This is in ordinance form, this would be the first reading.
So we need to discuss the rule.
Josh and Nani, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by show of hands. Josh, report, opposed? The first reading ordinance passes 5-0 unanimous, we'll have second reading in 2 weeks. Aye, Water Department employee.
Due to the resignation of Ryan Asplund, staff is recommending that we hire internally for this position and move Bill Nelson from the street department to the water department. And that it would be effective April 4th, and he would start at a step 4 with 6 months probation.
Mark, you had anything? Council?
If for some reason 6 months, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but just, you know, if 6 months they did meet the, you know, requirements, could he go back to the street department?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Good, all right.
I'm not saying it'll happen, I
Yeah.
just curious.
Good question.
Second,
Paul, Don, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. 13J, resignation of elected department employee.
Joseph Stratman has resigned from the electric department effective this Friday. I'd like permission to go out and advertise for a line person position.
Josh and Mike, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Wastewater Department employee.
Personnel committee this afternoon met and interviewed 2 individuals for the wastewater position. And we're recommending that Jordan Yankee be hired. Step 1, 6 months probation. He's from Sherburne.
Any experience at this before?
Yep, August the 13th, wasn't it? 6, 7, 8 months.
Yeah, running some little wastewater plant up outside the city.
East Bethel.
He lives in Sherburne now.
They moved to sinking.
He's already indicated he's well aware of the requirements and willing to move and become active in the community.
Did you make that motion on it? For a second?
Second.
Josh, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Food shelf request.
County Food Shelf is requesting waiver of the nonprofit fee for the use of the shelter 2 times a month during July, August, September, and October, and once in June. Staff is recommending that the fee be waived. However, if the building is not returned in the condition it's in before they start using it, that fee would still be charged.
This fee, the fee we charge that we're waiving is per occasion.
Yes.
$15.
And that's if it's not left in the same standard or the city employees left.
We'll have to clean it up or.
And then we charge them $15.
Correct.
Are these days during the week?
Yes, they are. It's a Thursday, I believe.
We must cleaning them for $15.
So moved.
Don, Paul, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. 13M, resignation police department employee. Gets us about 4:30 this afternoon to Mark Carvet. Dear Chief Carvet, I regret to inform you that I will be resigning my position as police officer effective 4/1/14. I hereby give my 2 weeks' notice, my intention to leave St. James Police Department. I want to thank you for the opportunity to work for you in the department. It's been a great pleasure working with you and representing the police department. Wish you and the department continued success. Sincerely, Rochelle Hanson. She's been with us 12 years and she's accepted a job at Whatcom County fraud investigator.
Yes.
Fraud investigator, and she'll be starting there in 2 weeks, so she'll stay in the county. So, need to accept the resignation, Mike,
Second.
Josh. I'd also like you to send a letter that we'll sign to her to thank her. Rochelle did an excellent, superb job within our community for the last 12 years. I want to publicly and personally thank Rochelle for her 12 years and wish her well on her next job. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous.
Do we need to take any action to get a new one?
Mhm.
Not now, or
Yes. It's advertised.
advertise?
Yep, to replace it. Motion by Mike, is there a second? Josh, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous. Done.
Nope.
Paul? Steve? Bill? Dan?
No.
Jason?
Nope.
Ray?
Nope.
Mark?
Nope.
Evan?
The movie this weekend is God's Not Dead. It's rated PG and it's an hour and 53 minutes long. So you're all coming, right?
Most of us. Molly? A little longer meeting than normal. Motion to adjourn. Thanks everyone for attending. Have a good night.
Last time I got it